What you doing there, son?
I'm vaping, Dad.
That's not how you usually vape.
Yeah, no, I'm dripping.
You're dripping?
Yeah.
My son is a dripper? Did you not see that CNN article about how dangerous dripping? I have no son! Dirty dripper! Fuck! Hey guys, YouTube, fellow vapors, welcome into Between Two Beards. Now, as you can see, this is not a review video. This is not a quick tip video. This is a why CNN sucks a fucking dick video.
Yeah. So there's this big article that's floating around right now about how dripping is like this new thing that's turning teenagers to the dark side as opposed to conventional e-cigarettes. This whole dripping thing is this new terrible thing that's happening.
The only problem is, and what the writer of this article failed to mention in the entire bullshit load of the article, is the fact that dripping's not new. It outdates tanks when it comes to vaping.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through this a little bit here and there and just start talking about all the crap that's in it.
What they don't seem to realize is dripping started years and years and years and years ago, way before I started vaping.
Story time!
With little 510 atomizers, and you would drip your juice, and you would vape your juice, and then you would drip your juice, and you would vape your juice. They literally came out with tanks to do away with the need for that. Tanks are not like this more healthy alternative to, way of vaping. It's just an easier way to get juice to your wicks as opposed to dripping juice directly onto your coils. I'm going to go ahead and quote Grim Green from his vlog this week and say that there is no difference. Dripping is literally just a method to get your juice to your coils. That's it. That's all it is.
I got to give credit to Grim Green when he was talking about this article this week, because he kept his composure. We're not going to keep our composure.
Probably not going to happen with
us. I fucking want to punch CNN in the face right now.
Yeah. This whole thing is just a huge load of propaganda. More proof that all of the vaping regulations that are trying to be passed down right now are just
I'm pretty sure that this article was probably suggested by the FDA.
Yeah, and I mean,
because parents need to be like, "Is little Jimmy dripping? Is little Jimmy dripping?"
But yeah, so we're gonna go into the article a little bit. Not gonna link it because, as other people have said, we don't want to get any more attention to this shit. Don't want to give more traffic to CNN on this article because it's just so ludicrous in every way, even remotely possible. Right. But we're gonna go through a little bit of it and read it and kind of just talk about why it's so stupid.
All right, guys, let's dive into this shit. Let's just do it. This article is by Susan Scuddy.
Scotty doesn't know what the hell she's talking about.
Scuddy's freaking clueless.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Basically, and I love the picture, which is just somebody sucking on a traditional cigarette replica e-cigarette.
We'll flash the picture up right now.
Yeah. All right. 1 in 4 teens who vape say they've used e-cigarettes for an alternative technique known as dripping. Quotations by them, not me. New research finds dripping produces thicker clouds of vapor, debatable, gives a stronger sensation into the throat, and makes flavor taste better. Well, that's probably true.
I can kind of almost agree with that to a point.
According to a study published Monday in the journal Pediatrics, this study is the first systematic evaluation of the use of dripping amongst teens, said I don't fucking know.
Something we can't pronounce.
Lead author and professor in the Department of Psychology at the Yale University School of Medicine. Ooh. In Connecticut, they surveyed the teens in Connecticut. Fuck! I'm sure if you did the exact same study with heroin, it would probably come up pretty similar.
Right. Well, if they did it in
No offense, Connecticut, but it's Connecticut. Though some respondents did not answer all the questions, 1,874 students reported having tried an e-cigarette. More than 26% of those who tried vaping also reported dripping.
Oh my god.
You drip, dude. You're part of the 26%.
Drip. Drip.
Drip,
Drip. I'm such a dirty dripper.
So what? Along with a better cloud, more flavor, and a stronger hit, the person who I can't pronounce his name said, some people prefer dripping because it allows them to conveniently change from one liquid flavor to another without wasting liquid. Oh, that's true.
So far, I think that's the only thing that they've really gotten right.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's why I bought a dripper in the first place, so I could change liquid.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm a dirty dripper too. A Story, CEO of Tobacco Vapor Electronic Cigarette Association and industry group, suspects the number of teens who have tried dripping may not be as high as the study indicates. Okay. Do we think it's going to become a trend or very popular? No, he said. Story, who was not involved in the industry, or the study, who was not involved in the study, believes there will always be an extreme group that uses any product, including e-cigarettes, in alternative ways. But it's not an alternative. This is the problem with this article. It's making it sound like, well, people traditionally like smoke crack, but now they're injecting it straight into their veins, and that's what they're making this sound like. This is the same as this. It's just the fact that I already did that.
Right. This is using the wicks to draw the juice in. I am physically applying the juice. Everything else, it's vaping. I mean, this is how this works.
In August, the Food and Drug Administration began regulating all tobacco products. Okay, first off, that's bullshit. They didn't regulate tobacco products. They regulated vaping products.
Because conveniently, all cigarettes and actual tobacco products were grandfathered into this law, and it doesn't affect any of them. So, where do you like the tobacco? I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Prohibiting sales to youths under the age of 18, which I'm okay with.
I'm fine with that.
There's no reason for somebody who's under 18 to be doing this.
Right.
You know? Story favors regulation and dislikes the fact that underage teens are vaping. Still, he said that it's much better to have them play around with vaping devices versus conventional tobacco. Absolutely.
I agree.
Even though I don't condone underage teens using vaping.
Unfortunately, I think the FDA is using all of this stuff to say that they're protecting teens, and what they don't seem to realize is you can try to take stuff away, but people that want to do something are going to do something.
Dude, I don't smoke pot, but I can promise you within 5 phone calls I could probably have a dime bag of pot here.
Right. I mean, crack is illegal. People are still using crack. Heroin is a very bad problem right now. Clearly, that's not legal. So taking this stuff away is not going to deter teens from wanting to do it. I mean, I'm with you. I would rather teens not do any of this. I mean, we're 30 years old, so, whatever. We smoked for a long time, and this was our way to quit. And I fear that overregulation is going to price so many products out of the market that it's actually going to lead to more harmful ways of vaping for teens to do. It'll push people back to tobacco or pot or any other thing that this is helping kids stay off of. I would rather a teen do this than smoke cigarettes or pot. Absolutely. I would rather them not do any of it, but unfortunately, it's going to happen.
Right. Toxic emissions.
Oh boy.
Dripping generates higher heating coil temperatures than conventional use of e-cigarettes, and this is a safety concern.
I don't agree with any of that, because I can vape this at 30 watts and I can vape that at 30 watts and they would be relatively the same, or vice versa. I could vape this at higher temperatures, I could vape that at higher temperatures, so I don't agree with any of that. It continues to say higher temperatures lead to greater emissions of class of harmful chemicals known as volatile aldehydes, including formaldehyde and acrolein, whatever her name is said.
What?
I mean, these things have been tested over and over and over and over again, and that's not true. That's not true. Those are chemicals known to be contained in traditional tobacco, but not any of this. Like, it's not in here.
Scuddy no.
Scuddy no.
According to Dr. David Carpenter, director of the University of Albany School of Public Health, both formaldehyde and acrolein are known to cause cancer in humans. Carpenter is unaffiliated with the new study. These chemicals are also associated with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a progressive disease that makes it difficult to breathe. Funny, doesn't cigarettes do that too?
I will be the first one to tell you, since I stopped smoking and started vaping,
I can breathe.
I can breathe better than I have in
an unrelated study last year, and his colleagues approximated realistic dripping scenarios under laboratory conditions and then measured temperatures and emissions. The aldehyde emissions were much greater than what we measured using conventional e-cigs. Okay. More important, as puffing progresses and liquid is consumed, the temperatures and emissions rise drastically. Users believe they can detect when conditions have shifted by a change in flavor.
Nope.
Taste the difference. They very likely have already been exposed to much higher levels of these toxins than would have happened under conventional e-cig.
I don't understand the taste difference thing. Like when I'm dripping and I start dripping,
maybe if the wick runs dry, you get a burnt hit.
Yeah, like.
Well, then that's a real simple solution. Don't let your tank run dry. Don't let your.
Yeah.
Stupid ass. Emerging data is also showing that e-cigarettes contain many other chemicals like
propylene glycol. So propylene glycol. It's literally labeled on every single bottle. It's actually the first.
Isn't that word right there?
Yeah.
That word right there.
So they had to do studies and dump God only knows how much money, and to find out the vaping has propylene glycol in it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Vape break. Hang on. Oh, taste that sweet propylene glycol.
Oh. Okay. And glycerin.
Which also labeled on the bottle.
It's right there. And they also contain a lot of flavor chemicals. They mean artificial flavor sweeteners.
Boy, they are just the greatest detectives on Earth.
Did they read this bottle when they wrote this article? Because that's literally the ingredients.
No, because some jackass in an office literally wrote all this with no knowledge of anything and then published it. Carry on.
And when they are heated at high temperatures like we see with dripping, you could produce high levels of carcinogen. I can't talk tonight, dude. If the e-liquid is vaporized at a high temperature, you could get a big shot of nicotine.
I'm sorry, but where are you going?
Fuck! What an idiot! The other thing is, nicotine is addictive. No shit. What I'm primarily concerned about is they've become so popular with the kids, and they're going to be just as addictive as cigarettes. First off, they make 0 mg juice.
Right.
A December report from the Surgeon General found e-cigarettes are now the most commonly used form of tobacco. Once again, where is the tobacco?
I would love for them to come to my house right now and show me where the tobacco is, because I mean, this is plastic, and then there's liquid in here, and then this is metal and plastic and metal and batteries.
There's no tobacco.
I'm sorry, but yeah, there's just no tobacco.
As they've pointed out, they have all the ingredients on this bottle, but yet tobacco doesn't make an appearance anywhere.
Right. Amazing how that is, isn't it?
Damnedest thing, ain't it? Oh, Carpenter worries about the possibility of addiction because the devices are promoted as being safer than conventional cigarettes, which they are. Many people, though, do not understand that fun-flavored liquids, including mango and bubblegum, often contain nicotine. Okay, first off, any reputable vape shop out there is going to ask you what level of nicotine you want. And if you don't know what nicotine is, then clearly you've never taken a DARE class in school.
Right.
So I don't buy that shit for a second. Since nicotine levels also vary from formulation to formulation, users may unknowingly develop a strong need to vape more frequently. Kind of like going from a cigarette every couple hours to a pack a day.
Right.
So that's kind of amazing.
Man, when I started, I could take 1 puff a day, and now I'm up to 14.
Though it is true that e-cigarettes lack many of the toxic chemicals contained in regular cigarettes. There it is.
Ding, ding, ding.
There it is.
Took all the way to the bottom of this article.
All the way to the bottom.
That.
So they want to guarantee that everybody stopped reading well before they got to anything
Right.
truthful. Yeah, because, God forbid, there's no tar in this. There's no, I'm not coughing up black shit in the middle of the night.
Right.
So all these added things, these flavors, these other chemicals, their quotations, not mine, e-cigarettes are unknown territory when it comes to human health, he said. What I always tell parents is that we know very little, I think, about the short and long-term effects of e-cigarettes. The fact that they're calling it e-cigarettes.
I hate the term e-cigarette. I think an e-cigarette is a thing.
I think
you buy them at a gas station, and
I
they're
think
awful.
an e-cigarette is a very primitive version of this.
I think an e-cigarette is the cig-alike you buy at the gas station, and they cost $19, and they're god-awful, and they're produced by tobacco companies to make people say, oh, this is terrible, I'm just going to stay with cigarettes. This, I'm sorry, is a vaporizer. It's not an e-cigarette.
Exactly.
I hate the term e-cigarette. Pisses me off.
Yeah, I agree. In the light of many health concerns, the FDA announced last year that it would regulate e-cigarettes the same way it regulates traditional cigarettes and smokeless tobacco.
That's awesome.
Absolute bullshit.
When was the last time you walked into Shell and there was a 90% sales tax on a pack of Marlboros? Tell me that.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I think what all of this boils down to, like I said earlier, this is somebody that has no idea what she's talking about. She's being paid to write slam articles against things that the government's wanting to take away from us, and God knows this is CNN. So we know that they tell the truth just all the time. And she came up with this article with all these facts and all these things that she says she understands and she has no clue about. I'm sorry, but again, I can't stress enough. Dripping and this are the exact same thing. Is the flavor a little bit better? Depends. It depends on what devices you're using.
This is a subjective thing.
Is the throat hit better? No. That depends completely on the juice you're vaping. Is the nicotine content higher? No. I've got 3 milligram nicotine. If I vape it in this, or if I vape it in that, or if I vape 3 milligram out of...
This is clearly a smaller bottle than this. Guess what? 3 mig nicotine. 3 mig nicotine. The same amount of nicotine in both these bottles, even though they're different sizes.
And again, if I'm vaping that, if I have a cig-alike that says this 3 milligram nicotine and I have a dripper running at 187 watts, it's still 3 milligram of nicotine. And this whole thing just absolutely... We're going to stop reading.
There's no more reading this.
Yeah.
This just goes back into how vape tricks are supposed to be appealing
it goes into...
appealing to the kids. Because God forbid, when you smoke a cigarette, nobody's ever tried to blow a smoke ring.
Right.
You know? This is absolute crap, guys, because I can remember the exact same conversation and the exact same style articles coming up when I was younger about cigarettes. And yet, it didn't prevent anybody from smoking cigarettes. And I'll reiterate, I don't condone underage people using vape. This should be for 18 and older. However, the kids are going to do what the kids are going to do. And making this illegal or damn near impossible to obtain is not going to change that. They're just going to find they're going to find a different, possibly a more dangerous way to do this.
Right.
So, CNN... We used it in our other video. 2 dicks down, 3 dicks down, and shame on you.
I'm going to go one step farther with that and say CNN can just suck 3 big old dicks right now.
Yeah, seriously. Shove them in your mouth, balls deep, fucking swallow the juice, funnel it.
Have fun with that one. Just
fuck you, CNN. Shame on you. This article is 100% bullshit. And Scuddy here can kiss my dimpled ass.
Absolutely. This kind of thing is the kind of thing... This article, all these studies were actually done in 2015. And I'm sorry, why is this just now coming out? If you came out and said, oh my God, the kids are dripping now, this is such a terrible thing, why wait 2 years to post this? Because even they know how ridiculous this ad or this propaganda is, that they had to wait until the heat of the moment with all the FDA regulations going down.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I will straight up say this. I don't care what anybody thinks or says. This is all about money. Big tobacco is losing a lot of money because people are finally getting sick of feeling like they're dying all the time.
To lose a lot of money.
Absolutely, because they're losing so much money from people switching from cigarettes and other forms of traditional tobacco to vaping because it makes them feel better and they enjoy it more. So now you've got the big companies going to the FDA and saying, hey, here's a couple $2 billion, make this shit illegal. I'm sorry, that's what's happening right now. And you'll never convince me otherwise.
I wouldn't be surprised if the FDA pushed this article.
I 100% guarantee the FDA pushed this article because this just came out of nowhere. It's just like, oh, by the way, everybody on the internet, here's these studies that we did in 2015.
But there was an article that came out a couple of days ago from the UK that pretty much went down the science of how it is 95% safer to vape than it is to smoke.
I know in the UK the regulations are a little steeper on like how many milliliters you can have in your tank and stuff like that. But their health department has come out and said directly, United States, do not take this safer alternative from your people. And the FDA is going, you know what?
Pretty much.
That's all they're doing. They don't care. When I read articles like this, I just want to take my hat off.
Propaganda, guys, and this is important because this is what we're up against. This is what we have to fight. We're gonna have to fight the mainstream media. Anyway, guys, this was our rant video. We are bringing you new videos for some reviews and some fun stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Felt this was an important thing to kind of get out there. This all came out this week.
If you are a vapor, you need to pay attention to this stuff, guys, because this is what we're up against, and these are the people that are trying to take this away from us.
We all need y'all. Everybody, please go to CASAW. Go to Not Blowing Smoke. Get involved with anything in advocacy you can. I know our local vape shops have letters already pre-printed. All you got to do is sign them, put your address on them, to send them to state representatives to try to support our rights to vape. Because I'm sorry, we should not be punished because we want to be healthier. I should not be punished because I can taste food again and I can smell again and I can breathe again. So therefore, they're going to just start taxing me and taking the stuff away.
They are literally saying, well, if you want to smoke cigarettes and die of lung cancer, that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. But if you want to vape, you're going to have to pay to be healthy. You're going to have to pay.
You're going to have to deal with slam campaigns coming out like this. This whole article is ignorant.
I wish I could have printed this article out so I would have had more toilet paper later. So
right.
Ass with it, you know.
But anyway, we're gonna cut it off there. If you guys have any questions about stuff like this, like I say, go to CASAW, go to Not Blowing Smoke. They've got all the information you need about getting involved with your local and state representatives and how to. We got to try to push back, guys. We got to try to push back because if we allow them to keep doing this, more and more people are going to start believing it when they don't understand what's going on, and eventually this stuff is all going to go away. All of the big YouTubers that review this stuff, they're all going to go away. All your devices are going to go away. We have to stand up and tell the FDA to kiss our taints because this all is complete bullshit.
You can lick the bead of sweat that is literally rolling down my taint in this hot ass room
right now. So with that, we are in between two beers.
Please subscribe to our channel, guys. Hit the button right there. Check us out on Facebook, In Between Two Beards, all one word with the number 2. Also on Instagram, we're constantly posting updates, constantly posting pictures, articles like this. Check us out. Give us some support. Give us a thumbs up, guys. If you got questions, leave a comment. We've gotten a couple of comments, and we're hoping to do a Q&A session here eventually. But more to come. Stay tuned. And until then,
vape on.
Vape on. I'm willing to bet the bitch that wrote this literally was interviewing people that were vaping juicy.